What's up, guys? I am back. So, last week we discussed alcohol. We examined the expectations people have about this drug, and we learned that many of these expectations don't really match the drug's effects and the consequences of its use, right? So, what were some of those false expectations that people have about alcohol? What do they hope alcohol will do for them? Good. So it might make them seem more mature, look cool, feel more outgoing, right? That's what we talked about last week. So today we're going to discuss another drug that people expect will make them look cool, more rebellious, or even up to date with the new trends. In fact, most people who use this drug as adults started their habit as a teenager, never expecting to be a user for life. Today we're going to discuss tobacco-related products and the highly addictive chemical found in them. What is the name of that addictive chemical? What do you guys think? You probably know. Right, it's called nicotine. So cigarettes are one type of tobacco product. Let's take a look at some other tobacco products. I want you guys to go ahead and open your workbooks to page 14 to the section titled The More Things Change. Tobacco-related products are listed in the word bank at the top of the page. Read each product description and fill in the blank with the tobacco-related product that fits the description. The first one's been done for you, and we'll go over your answers at the end, okay? All right, so you guys are going to have just about 5 minutes to do this, okay? All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys the answers. Just follow along and make sure you got them right, okay? So the first one that was done for us are cigarettes. So that's the finely chopped tobacco cured and preserved with numerous chemical additives. And then the next one was cigars. Then the next one should be pipe tobacco. What did you guys have for the one after that? Good, so that one should be chewing tobacco. All right, and then the next one's going to be dip. And then the one after that's going to be the electronic nicotine delivery systems. You might know them as e-cigs, vapes, that kind of thing. And then your last one's going to be hookah tobacco. All right, so we often associate the danger of using tobacco products with the smoke that people inhale. What are some of the negative effects that smokers experience because of tobacco smoke? Right, so they might experience shortness of breath, chronic cough, cancer, smelly hair and clothes, tobacco-stained fingers, and holes in clothes, right? While not all tobacco products listed on workbook page 14 are smoked, they do all contain nicotine. So electronic nicotine delivery systems are often marketed as the safer alternative to smoking. There's little research yet available on the risk of using those, but keep in mind these devices can still contain nicotine, and nicotine does cause harmful effects. People associate the long-term effect of wrinkles with smoking, but did you know it's actually the nicotine that causes wrinkles? Yeah, so nicotine narrows the blood vessels in the skin and restricts blood flow. The decrease in the amount of oxygen and nutrients delivered to the skin leads to premature wrinkles. So go ahead and look at page 15 in your workbooks, section titled Harmful Effects of Nicotine Use. Go ahead and look at that table that's at the top. All right, so which short-term effects, long-term effects, or social consequences are you surprised to learn result from nicotine use regardless of whether the product is smoked or not? So to take a closer look at what you know about nicotine, we're going to play a game called Social Hacker. In this game, you will find yourself in various social situations involving nicotine. You will need to identify the short-term, long-term, or social consequence of nicotine use described in the scenario. Don't call out your answer, okay? You're going to mark the effect or consequence on your game sheet with an X. The object of this game is to be the first player to mark 8 tiles in your game sheet that form an X. So, to set up your Social Hacker game sheet, which is on workbook page 15, I want you guys to randomly write in a social consequence from the harmful effects of nicotine use table located right above it, okay? Each then will have a unique game sheet. So the short-term and long-term effects have already been put in for you. So I'm going to give you guys like 2 minutes to fill in some of those blanks, okay? All right, are you guys ready? So basically, just to clarify, this is going to be kind of like bingo, but you're going in the shape of an X instead of just a line, all right? Okay, so for the first one, it is a short-term effect, and the situation is, while making small talk with your hairstylist, you realize your stylist chews tobacco. Which short-term effect of nicotine use is causing you to lean away as your stylist chats with you? What do you guys think this one is? Good. So this one's going to be bad breath. So if you have that one, go ahead and mark it off. All right. So the next one is a long-term effect. Your goal is to earn a scholarship for swimming. Which long-term effect of nicotine use, other than cancer, would most likely keep you from reaching this goal? All right. So this one's going to be heart disease. So the next one is a social consequence. Your crush asks you to the dance. At the dance, you realize your crush smokes cigarettes. You politely let your crush know that smoking is a dating deal breaker. Which social consequence of nicotine use is described in this scenario? Good, so that one is dating dilemmas. All right. The next one is a short-term effect. Your goal is to save up enough money to buy a pineapple pool float for your best friend's birthday. Which short-term effect of nicotine use would most likely keep you from reaching your goal? Right, so this one's going to be less money. All right, so the next one's going to be a social consequence. And for this one, you're a role model for the kids at your local community center. At the mall, you see a classmate who's known for vaping. You decide to steer clear from him because you don't want to associate yourself with anyone who uses drugs. Which social consequence of nicotine use caused you to stay away from your classmate? All right, so this one's going to be bad reputation. So the next one's going to be a short-term effect. And Norman has been smoking cigarettes for years. He's at the bus stop and realizes he's out of smokes. A woman nearby is smoking, so Norman asks to bum a cigarette. She's smoking her last one, so Norman desperately asks if he can share it with her. Which short-term effect is causing Norman to do these things? Right, so this one's addiction. So the next one's going to be a long-term effect. And to seem cool at the party, your friend wants you both to try vaping nicotine. You suggest a better idea to be cool at the party because you love your healthy skin and you take good care of it. You know that nicotine causes this long-term effect. Right, so this one is wrinkles. So this next one's going to be a social consequence. So some friends say, hey, meet us at the convenience store this afternoon. We're going to buy some e-cigs. You make a reasonable excuse to get out of the situation because you know no one under 21 can purchase nicotine and you don't use anyway. Later, you find out that your friends got busted. Each of them was fined $50 and were banned from the convenience store. They had to enroll in a nicotine education program. Which social consequence did you avoid? Right, so this one's legal problems. So the next category is a short-term effect. Ruben shows you a can of dip. He wants you to try some with him in the bathroom, assuring you no one will know. You state the facts to get out of the situation and say, yes, someone will eventually know by the change in our smiles. Which short-term effect of nicotine use are you describing? Good, so this one's yellow teeth, right? So the next category is social consequence. So someone you know confided in you that he smokes cigars. He said he's having problems with his parents. They think he's being disrespectful because he avoids hugging them. He loves his parents, but he doesn't want them to get too close so that they don't find out that he smokes. Which social consequence is described in this scenario? Right, so this one is problems with family. So the next one is going to be a long-term effect. So Willa and her friends went to a hookah bar. Her friends think hookah smoking is less risky than cigarette smoking because the smoke initially passes through water. They didn't know that nicotine, whether smoked or vaped, causes this long-term effect to our lungs, throat, and mouth. So this one is cancer. So your next category is going to be a short-term effect. Your friend is out sick from school again. He's missed more days this year than any other due to respiratory problems, which began when he started smoking cigarettes. Which short-term effect of nicotine use is your friend experiencing? Right, so he's getting sick more often. So the next category is a long-term effect. So your friend just got back from the dentist. The dentist said she is going to experience tooth loss if she doesn't quit using nicotine. Which long-term effect of nicotine use causes tooth loss? Right, so this one is gum disease. So the next one is a long-term effect. Are you guys getting close to getting an X? Let's see. So you and your best friend always host mystery cooking challenges. The object of the challenge is to guess the ingredients using your sense of smell and taste. Your friend has been smoking cigarettes and hardly wins the challenges anymore. Which long-term effect of nicotine use is most likely causing her to lose? Right, so this one is loss of taste and smell. Did any of you guys get an X yet? All right, we're going to keep going, even if you did. So the next one is going to be a social consequence. You encounter your neighbor in the park. He's smoking a cigar. You chat briefly, but say goodbye to get away from the secondhand smoke. You can tell your neighbor's disappointed you didn't stay to talk with him. Which social consequence is your neighbor experiencing? Good, so this one's feeling left out, right? And this is going to be our last one, and it is a social consequence. Since your friend Harold has been smoking e-cigarettes, you don't invite him bowling anymore. The bowling alley is a smoke-free environment which bans use of e-cigarettes and vape pens in the building. You're thinking of ending your friendship. Everything you used to do together gets interrupted with this smoke breaks. Which social consequence is Harold experiencing? Right, so this one's loss of friends. Okay, guys, so hopefully we had a few winners, right? So what is the harm in trying nicotine just once? People addicted to nicotine crave the drug so much that they will keep using and seeking the drug despite the harmful effects and the negative consequences. Addiction develops in stages, and the user is often unaware the addiction is developing until it's too late. Chances are the first time won't be the last time. Go ahead and turn to your workbooks to page 16 to the section titled Stages of Addiction. So, there are 4 stages of addiction. A person can move through these stages quickly, or it can take several years. Go ahead and take a few seconds to read over each stage. So now we're going to use the information from the Stages of Addiction section to identify a nicotine user's stage of addiction. Go ahead and look at the next section in your workbook titled Addiction Notice. As I read each scenario, identify the appropriate stage of addiction and write it down in your workbook. Alright, so this first one says, I don't buy tobacco products, but if a friend offers me some, I'll use it. I don't get sick from the nicotine like I did at first. My body must be getting used to the nicotine. I don't plan on using nicotine forever. I just use it to be social with others who are using it. So which stage of addiction do you guys think this is? Good. So this one's going to be stage 2, which is pattern use. In the pattern use stage, the user develops a tolerance to the substance. What does it mean to have a tolerance? Good. So it means the body has become used to the substance and may need more of it to get the same effect. So the next scenario says, I've been using nicotine for a while, and now I'm starting to plan ahead, thinking about when I'll be able to use next time. If I don't use nicotine, I get headaches and am grouchy. When I have a choice of activities, I will choose an activity that lets me use nicotine freely. Instead of going bowling with my best friend and not being able to smoke, I went to a party with people I don't know because I could smoke at the party. So which stage do you guys think this one is? Good. So this is stage 3, problem use. So in the problem use stage, the user will experience uncomfortable withdrawal symptoms between periods of use. Experiencing these symptoms makes quitting difficult. So the next scenario is, these kids at a party were vaping nicotine. I tried it just to look cool. The nicotine made me sick. I will never vape again. So what stage do you guys think that one is? Right, so this is stage 1 experimental use, right? So in the experimental use stage, a person doesn't expect to become addicted. It's easier to just never start. There are healthy ways to fit in or to be cool that don't involve drug use. So the next scenario says, I have to use nicotine now. My body needs it. Last week I was totally stressed out and really needed to smoke, so I lit up a cigarette in the bathroom at school. I got caught and was suspended. I wish I wasn't addicted. I have trouble breathing, but I can't quit. I also have yellow fingernails and teeth. So which stage do you guys think this person's at? Right, so this is stage 4. This is addiction, right? So like they do with alcohol, people often expect that nicotine use will enhance their social image. Where do you think people get that idea from? Right, so maybe movies, older people, right? So despite the harmful effects of nicotine, we often see glamorous depictions of it in movies, TV programs, and music videos. Did you know that companies pay a fee or provide services in exchange for a display of their products in media outlets? Think about it. There's a reason why the hero in the movie is drinking a particular brand of soda, or the leading lady drives a particular kind of car, right? Product placement intends to show actors using and enjoying these products so the viewer thinks how great their lives would be if they used them too. Most likely, the actors don't use those products in real life. So let's break down the influence of product placement. Go ahead and look at page 17 in your workbook at the section titled Race to the Bottom. Alright, so imagine this is a still shot from a recent action movie. And the cool guy you see here is a top actor playing the lead role. In this movie, he cruises around in a hot sports car. The scene in the movie is exciting and full of glamour shots of the car from all angles. How would you feel about the car? Right, you probably think that's a cool car, right? Do you think someone might walk away from the movie thinking, if I had that car, I would look as cool as that guy does? So imagine, in this same scene, the cool character lights up a cigarette. Take a moment, go ahead and draw that character smoking a cigarette. I'll give you guys 30 seconds to draw this, okay? So the placement effect can be just as powerful with tobacco products. The image of an attractive person smoking a cigarette in a film creates a positive perception of nicotine use. They certainly aren't showing you that person with a hacking cough or sticky breath, are they? Not, right? So in the movie, this character will drive off into the sunset with the girl in his cool car, but we know that nicotine users don't live without nicotine-related consequences. So now go ahead and look at the Race to the Bottom 2 Up in Smoke poster. In the space provided, illustrate an additional movie scene depicting the character experiencing a short-term, long-term, or social consequence. I'll give you guys a minute to do this part. All right, so media literacy is the ability to comprehend, analyze, and question messaging from all sources. Advertisers hope product placement will convince you to choose their products. Media literacy skills enable you to see beyond what is being presented to you so that you can make your own decisions. For next week's class, I want you guys to watch a TV show, a movie, a music video, or play a video game. And take note of specific brand name products you see. It can be anything. So while you guys do this, I want you to pay attention to how you feel when you see these products. Does the product placement make you want to have the product, or are you annoyed by the prevalence of the product placement throughout the video? So we will compare notes when we see each other next week. Can't wait to see you guys next week.